Last week, I put up a poll, a survey on my YouTube channel asking people where they were in their career as a filmmaker. So some people have a full-time job and they're doing this on the side, and a vast majority of people were working part-time or full-time in the freelancing world. So they're trying to take their freelance career to the next level, and that's why they were watching some of my other videos. So I had some conversations, and it turns out a lot of people that are freelancing don't know exactly what to do to get to the next level, to basically run their own video production company, so their time is not directly tied to how much money they could make. When I go back, the times where I've been the most depressed in the last 15 years of working in this career has been the times where I was either far too busy, working 80 hours a week freelancing, and then the times where I had nothing on my plate for weeks on end. And in both cases, in both of those situations, I basically desperately was trying to figure out, how do I get out of this position? How do I create a balance where I'm not feast and famine every single year? I remember even 6-7 years in, I was thinking the exact same thing. How come I can't escape this position? Because just the feeling that I would have every single year, especially in the winter time, I would have no work and I'd be desperate. In the summertime, my back would be in pure pain because I was doing 80-hour weeks, and it just wasn't sustainable. So I've put together the most practical list that I've created so far, and I'll put a link below to a downloadable version of this so you could go through this step by step. This is going to be a full blueprint. So if you're trying to go from doing video on the side or freelancing to working as a full-time filmmaker through a video production company that I will show you how to create, this is going to be the video for you. It's going to be step by step, and I'm not going to go deep in detail on each step. I just want to kind of give you the blueprint, and then I'll make follow-up videos, and I'm going to talk more about those in those videos as well. And I do have a course coming up. Again, if you do give me your email, I will send you that link too when it's available. Okay, let's go through this list one at a time, and I broke it down to in time periods too. So from today, if you start this list today, for the first 2 weeks, this is what I want you to do exactly in this order. Right now, I want you to write down the list of freelance clients that you have or the type of freelance jobs that you get. And through the last 15 years, at any moment, I had a set of different clients that I would work with, typically through freelancing. And I knew exactly who they were. So I want you to write those names. If you're doing events and weddings, write those two as a client. And if you're getting random gigs, put that as one of those clients in your list as random things that you get. Then I want you to actually take a second and put that list in order of your favorite to least favorite. If you put it down that way, I know it's a little bit tricky. You're not showing this to anybody. This is just for you. But if you put it down that way, you're going to know which client you could later cross off the list. But I want you to have this as the very first step. The second thing in these first 4 weeks is I need you to carve out about 5 hours a week to learn the business side of video production. No matter what your skill level is in filmmaking, you could be the best of the best in your town. You're still gonna lose out to people that know the business side. So if you spend 5 hours a week in the next 4 weeks just learning the basics, you're gonna be further ahead. Now, at this point, I do make videos covering those all the time on this channel. So you could use my videos as a resource and other things just related to a small business operation. That's what you would Google and learn more about. But I'll give you more of a guideline as we go. Number 3 is I want you to track what your time goes into in the next 4 weeks. Now, this single thing completely changed everything I did in my business life and my personal life. I've tracked every waking minute for the last 3 years based on this book I read, and it completely changed everything for me. It was called High Performance Habits. And let me show you exactly what I did here. So I have this app on my phone, and I also have it on my watch. I could switch tasks just by clicking right there on top of my watch over here and switching tasks. But basically, every week I go back to the report section of this, and then I look at 7 days, and it shows everything I'm doing, and then I could get a quick overview. So New Slate's my video production company. Howfinity is my content business. So I could go back and see, right now I'm trying to really grow the content business. So I've outsourced a lot of things I do in the video production side of things, including shoots that I'm no longer going on. So that's how it's divided, where I only worked on the production company 12 hours And on the content business, another 25. A lot of personal time. Again, a lot of times at the gym and eating and cooking, going out. And usually it adds up to be about 110 hours a week that I'm awake. Now, honestly, if you take anything away from this video, this time tracking did one thing for me. It showed me exactly where I was wasting time every single week and where I could utilize time every single week. And the times where I was trying to get out of something and get into something else, it helped me separate my time a little bit better. So for example, when I was focusing more on the video production side of things, I wanted to get out of freelancing a little bit more. So I did the exact same thing. I had freelancing, I had video production, and I would toggle on whichever one I was working on throughout the week. So you definitely don't have to track everything you do in a week, but I definitely recommend in your work world, track where your time is going. That will help you find those 5 hours for self-education on the business side, but it will also really let you figure out how long things are taking, where your time is going. And this is if you're feeling too busy. If you feel like you don't have much on your plate, you don't have to worry so much about this time management technique, but this completely changed everything. And another thing it does for me is it basically lets me take a second to switch tasks. And in that time where I'm actually pressing the button to go from one task to another task, I'm basically taking myself away from multitasking. Then I could focus on just one task very focused that way. So I'll make a separate video about it because it's kind of going off tangent here, but do that as your main step here. Figure out where your time is going in a week and see if you feel like you don't have enough time, where you could take time from. And while you're learning in this first 4 weeks, what I recommend is go back to step 1. And if you feel like you just don't have time, you're not gonna have time, especially if you have a job, to also figure out the video production business side of things, you need to cross off some things off your plate. There's just no other way around it. Every time I've had to make a transition and I've got people to help me with this, and a lot of people always say, oh, you need to quit this cold turkey and start this other thing. Well, that's just not feasible. I have bills to pay, right? I can't just stop doing this thing. Even though I have done that, from going from an AC to a DP, I stopped completely being an AC. And it hurt for a while because I just made less money making that transition. So I've laid out this process to be less of stopping one thing and starting another thing, and more of a transition in the course of 3 to 6 months, so you don't feel like you're losing out on a bunch of jobs because you just decided you're going to run a production company and no longer be a freelancer. Let's get to the second phase of this, which is week 4 to week 8. This is where I want you to structure your video production company so it feels real to you. If you have not created a company, and if you're just freelancing under your name and you have no sort of structure, this is a really good time to invest a little bit of money to set all this up. So this stage is you pick a company name, so you could spend some time on that. Then you incorporate that company, and I'll make more different videos again, but this is something you should talk to a CPA and a lawyer about. But I have an LLC, I have an S Corp, and I'll cover those later on. Then you design yourself a logo, and those are just fundamental things you do with any business, right? Then I recommend you pick a niche. In the world of video production, in the world of photography, whatever you are doing and whatever you want to focus on, pick a niche within that. Do you want to be a fitness videographer? Do you want to be an event videographer? Do you want to work on some resort videos? Do you want to make commercials for food companies? You have to kind of laser focus as dialed in as you can. I know a lot of us go into this profession because of the variety, and I'll explain more about how you could get variety in other videos. But to get started, variety is actually your enemy. You really want to focus because everything else becomes more of a system. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of times where I was depressed is because I didn't know how I got a lot of work, and I didn't know why I didn't get any work. There was no system to it. It would just come because of referrals, word of mouth. It's a terrible way to live, honestly. It really left me very depressed because I had no way to turn things on and off. Things just came and then things didn't come. So that's why picking a niche is so critical, because you could laser focus everything else that happens after that. Then after you have all that placed out, you basically create your website. This is, again, something that you're going to improve on all the time, but I want you to now create a website. You could use all kinds of different platforms I'll make videos about, but there's Wix and there's Squarespace, ClickFunnels, and all kinds of things you can make websites with. And this is going to be your general website. And then within that, if you have one, go ahead and improve it as much as you can during this stage. And then you make yourself a demo reel that could be generalized, right? So this could be the best of everything you've shot. Because this is not how we're gonna get clients with this website, but you still need this website to just look like a professional company. Okay, so then we are on to phase 3, and a lot of this is gonna come together in phase 3. And with phase 3, this is usually after the first 8 weeks of basically doing everything I mentioned. So from week 8 to week 12, maybe to week 16 even in some cases, you're gonna wanna do these steps. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to think of your dream client and write out the qualities of a dream client that you wanna get. This could be the type of pricing you think you could get from a client, right? You don't wanna get those lowball offer type jobs that are under $3,000 because that's gonna just hold you back. I always recommend when people are starting out to do a few shoots even for free so they have something to show, and then skip that step of just doing lowball shoots and get to the next level. What I mean by find your dream client, it's really, really hard if you're getting video jobs based on whoever wants a video. Typically when I ask people, how are you getting clients? And they say word of mouth, referrals. And I say, what kind of clients are you getting? And they say, well, whoever calls me, whoever wants to hire me. That's again a terrible way to go about it because it leaves you to that same place that we started out with in the freelancing mindset where things just are not repeatable, right? Things just come and go. So if you find your dream client and you can point at your dream client, it's a lot easier to then convert them, okay? And again, I'm not going really deep on any one of these. I just want to give you the blueprint, but I will cover those in different videos and trainings. Then after you find your dream client, you need to create an offer. The offer that you're creating has to be very specific. I'm gonna offer these type of small businesses, maybe dentists, this type of a video package. With offers, it has to be very specific. Your value to that client, to that type of customer that's hiring you to make a video, has to be very specific because the next step after creating an offer is creating a landing page. A landing page is a page within your website, not your homepage of your website. It's a different page of your website that speaks to that very dream customer that we came up with. The dream customer has to be the first step because you got to know what language to use to talk to them. The offer has to be the second step because you got to know what you're going to tell them that they're going to get. And the third step is that landing page. You design it and you put all the words and whatever offer you have in that page. Once you do that, I need you to spend the next few weeks to learn some kind of an ad platform, okay? Because with ads, you could turn things on and off. If you could get really good in video production, that's one way to go about it, and you could freelance and become a world-class DP, okay? That's another discussion. In this case, we're talking about creating a video production company where you could scale that, get help, so every time you make $1, it's not tied exactly to your time, right? That's the whole point of this video, and basically a lot of the videos I make on this channel. So in this case, I would recommend the LinkedIn ad platform, the Facebook ad platform, the YouTube ad platform, the Google ad platform. Not all of them at once, just one of them right now. You spend a few weeks learning one of those, and then you could run ads to that landing page with that specific offer. And with those ad platforms like Facebook, you could target specifically who you want to target. With LinkedIn, you could target people with the ad based on their job title, based on the type of small business they run. So many different opportunities that goes into that. Then once you do that, you could then schedule the calls after you figure out the whole ad thing. Now this part could take a few $100s to figure out. I've spent $500, $600 sometimes to kind of target an ad the right way, and I wasted some money because you just have to try some things to get it right. But it's well worth it. I mean, I don't know how much, 6 figures in camera equipment with no hesitation. But when it comes to running ads, I personally know I was so hesitant, and I know most people are, because marketing is just not as tangible as buying physical gear. But I'm telling you, if you could avoid buying gear and spend money on marketing, it could change the outlook of this whole career. Then basically, what I teach people after this is don't put your price on those landing pages or those offers and try to get people on the phone with these ads and close the sale on the ad. Then once you do that, you get into fulfilling. Once you close the sale, it comes to the contracting and invoicing and all kinds of the different proposal process and all kinds of different things that goes in beyond this. But that's basically how you take freelancing to video production in this blueprint. Again, everything I mentioned is in a checklist in the document that I have attached below. So you could type in your email there and you could download that right now. And I recommend you go through this step by step. I spent many weeks thinking of this exact path because every time I've transitioned from one thing to another, this was the path. This is the path that got me out of freelancing full-time and in running a video production company and still DPing on projects that I really love, but not being forced into having no type of system or no type of time, and going through those feast and famine periods for 7-8 years before I could figure this out. So hopefully this was of value to you, and I do post these type of videos twice a week on this channel right now, and I hope to catch you on the next video. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions, and I'll see you next time.